Howdy folks, Deacon Parsons here. Today I'm going to respond to a video by Turd Flinging Monkey called News, Friend Zone Level, Ex-Husband. I'll put a link in the low bar. I debated a while about whether or not it was worth doing this response. In the end, I think there was enough possible damage to MGTOW in the same situation as Flynn that a response is necessary. TFM, I think you messed up on this one. I don't believe for an instant that you did it maliciously or dishonestly, but you left your usual calm, deliberative presentation of facts as you see them. That's not really a big deal as far as that goes. We all have issues that sometimes bypass our logic and thought and go straight to our emotions. You make a lot of videos and they can't all be platinum. I doubt that Billy Flynn knows about your video, or if he does, I'm sure he probably doesn't care about it. So far, no harm, no foul. However, Flynn addresses important issues and uses some good strategies that your viewers could use to make their journey easier if they are in the same situation. Ignoring that does do harm to your viewers. Nobody likes to be criticized, but my guess is that you would rather be criticized than to harm MGTOW. Here are the problems that I see with your video. Beginning about 30 seconds into your video, you get a sarcastic lilt in your voice, and when you read Flynn's words in your doofus grand negus voice, it was clear that this wasn't going to be a logical and reasonable discussion of the issue. It was going to be an emotional smackdown for the cathartic thrill. Cathartic release of emotion can be a good thing. To borrow a term from another genre of YouTube videos, it was plain that this video was going to be a chimp out. Yes, the pun is intended. Boy, that'll probably draw fire from the humor-impaired SJW crowd. At about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you make the statement that this man has no respect for himself. You have almost no information about the specific situation that he's in, but you have zero problems judging him based on facts, not in evidence. That's not really cool. You assume that she filed for divorce and took the kids. That may be a statistical probability, but this isn't a statistical family. It's a specific family with specific issues which you admit you know nothing about. You seem compelled to force this situation into a narrative whether it fits or not. All women are evil and exactly the same way, and any man that does anything other than treat them as unclean are manginas. This is what critics are talking about when they say MGTOW are just like feminists. Sadly, in this specific video, they arguably have a point. At 2 minutes and 47 seconds, you have no problem manufacturing facts. Quote, I could tell, it doesn't say it in the article, she probably left him for someone better. Unquote. Really? You could tell that from the article? You admit you have no evidence, but you're going to go with that? Just before the 3-minute mark, you go into a short rant about how unfair and uncalled for his actions are in the situation that you have assumed. Did it ever enter your mind that perhaps his actions were evidence that your assumptions might be mistaken? But as we will see, even when you pay lip service to the facts you can deduce, you go ahead and ignore them to keep them from getting in the way of the smackdown. At about 3 minutes and 34 seconds, you start talking about how in a divorce with kids, the parents have to deal with each other regardless of their feelings about the ex. That is absolutely true, but you don't seem to grasp the full impact of that truth. Correct me if I am mistaken, but you don't have any children. You've never been in this situation. You pay lip service to the fact that parents will have to get along after a divorce, but then completely discount the enormity and complexity of that situation. Again, I don't believe you're being intentionally malicious or dishonest, but you just lack the personal experience in this matter that seems to have colored your perception. What you are not taking into account is that in a divorce, the children are with out of doubt, innocent parties and collateral damage. They didn't do anything to deserve their lives being ripped to shreds. And no matter how bad a person a child's parent might be, those parents are still 50% of those kids. While those children are young, the people around them will have to give the kids as positive of an impression as possible about their parents without lying. If that includes giving benefit of the doubt when it's unjustified, then so be it. Nobody can raise happy, healthy children on the idea that they are devil spawn. You know this, but you don't seem to understand that this is a two-way street and how important that fact is in this situation. And Billy Flynn is right. How parents model relationships is the programming the children will be stuck with into their adult lives. Nobody will treat anyone else in the world better than they treat their parents. How dad treats mom will be how sons will treat their wives and how daughters will expect to be treated. How mom treats dad is how daughters will treat their husbands and how sons will expect to be treated. Divorce cripples a parent's role modeling, but the damage can be and must be mitigated. Billy Flynn and his ex owe it to their children to do all they can both do to be positive role models for their kids. You list all the evils that can happen in a divorce with children, and then at 4 minutes and 24 seconds you say, quote, "It doesn't sound like that this is going on in this case," unquote. Okay then, why bring it up? If you know it isn't what's going on in this specific case, why bring it up in this specific case? At about 4 minutes and 30 seconds, you say that perhaps he's being nice so his kids will grow up and realize that even if mom was trying to poison the kids, that they will eventually realize dad was not so bad. That was a brilliant catch that you swiftly discount out of hand. Once again, I'd impute no malice, just lack of experience. You claim that he is wrong, that nothing he can do will speak louder than the fact that mom divorced dad. Dude, you are 100% wrong in this call. First of all, if your assumption that mom is trying to poison the children was correct, dad would have a restraining order. He couldn't have made her breakfast because he would have been arrested for being in her house. And by him doing this, he has gained strategic and tactical advantages. Legally, he can show by his positive, proactive action that he is working to protect the children from the animosity of the divorce. He can show a judge, everyone in the family, and the community that he is mature enough to place the welfare of his kids above any bad feelings he has for the ex-wife. Your analysis assumes that this is a one-way street, but by his precedent-setting example, he has placed a positive obligation on her part to reciprocate in kind. If she does not, the courts will know it, family and community will know it, and more importantly, the children will see it and know it. Far from Flynn being a simp or a mangina, he executed a brilliant win-win operation. Instead of being a passive mirror and waiting for her to act and reflecting it back to her, he took an active lead. He took the initiative, he gained the momentum, and has forced upon her the necessity to mirror his positive actions. If she does reciprocate, he gets to raise his boys in a non-poisonous environment. If she refuses to reciprocate, everyone, including the children, will see where the poison is coming from. That is a strategic and tactical win-win for him. You may have to take my word for it, but most children will notice things like this. It may be in their 20s or even 30s, but they'll notice. At about 5 minutes and 12 seconds you say, quote, If someone divorces you and takes your kids when you did nothing wrong, you should not be buying them flowers and cooking them breakfast on their birthday. Again, where did you get these facts? Are you privy to the actual causes of this specific divorce? Do you actually know who did what wrong to whom? And even if you happen to be right, even if she completely and unfairly tossed him aside for no good reason, even if his actions aren't taken into account by the courts, the family, or the community, they will eventually be taken into account by his children. And that matters more than anyone else's opinion of him. If you were a father, you would know and understand this. Now, I don't know if the story hit a little close to your own history, if you were having a bad day generally, or what, but this video fell a bit short of your usual standards. You do a lot of good work. I enjoy your videos, even if I don't always agree with everything in them. But you are out of your element when dealing with child issues. In this video, you may have done harm to your MGTOW subscribers in the same situation as Flynn. I'm sure that's not something you intend and work to avoid. Well, that's my feedback, my opinion on the subject. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you think my work is worth your hard-earned cash, there is a PayPal donation button on my main page or a link in the low bar. All donations are greatly appreciated. Please like, share, and subscribe if you are so inclined. This is Deacon Parsons saying, love your maker, love your mate, and do what's right because it's right, and devil take the hindmost.